This company spent $11.7 billion buying its own stock. They paid an average of $44 a share. Today, those shares are worth nothing. Zero. The money is gone, and so is the company. Bed Bath & Beyond, a name in every American home for 50 years. Now, a corpse. And here's what nobody tells you. The man everyone blames for killing it walked away with $60 million. But he isn't the one who took the most. Not even close. This is the story of how Bed Bath & Beyond was killed twice.
You remember the blue coupon? 20% off. Never expired. Everyone had a stack of them in a kitchen drawer. For 50 years, Bed Bath & Beyond was part of your life. Then it wasn't. And the easy story is that Amazon killed it. That's not what happened. What happened is that two groups of people made a fortune while this company died. Everyone knows the name of one of them. Almost nobody talks about the other. And the one who took the most money is not the one you think. If you bought a single share of this company in 2022, this story is about you. Keep that in mind. Let's start with that coupon. Keep it in your mind because it comes back, and it tells you everything. For 50 years, if you needed something for your home, you went to Bed Bath & Beyond. 1,500 stores. The place you furnished your first apartment, your wedding registry. Then around 2019, it starts losing money for the first time. Amazon, Walmart, and Target are eating it alive. So the board brings in a savior, a new CEO named Mark Tritton, poached from Target. He is about to make everything worse. Tritton's first big move. The company owned its buildings, stores, warehouses, land, real assets worth real money. Tritton sells a huge chunk of that real estate, then signs leases to rent the same buildings back. It raises a fast pile of cash. But now the company pays rent forever on property it used to own outright. That cash could have funded the turnaround, the renovations, the online push that might have saved it. Watch where it goes instead. Imagine emptying your savings to buy back shares of your own house at 10 times what the house is worth, while the house is on fire. That is what Bed Bath & Beyond did with its own stock. Since 2004, the company spent $11.7 billion buying back its own shares. 265 million shares, almost 3 times the number the company even had left. The average price they paid was $44 a share. The stock would end at $3. Then zero. And here is what should make you angry. They were still buying back stock in early 2022. $230 million in 3 months, while begging lenders for cash to survive. Remember that blue coupon? While they burned billions to prop up the share price, they quietly killed the coupon to cut costs. The one thing customers loved? Gone, to save pennies. While $11.7 billion went up in smoke. But management didn't do this alone. While they burned billions from the inside, a man was watching from the outside. A billionaire. A folk hero to millions of small investors who would follow him anywhere. He looked at this dying company and saw what nobody else did. A way to turn a corpse into cash. His cash. His name is Ryan Cohen, and what he did next is the part everyone remembers, but almost nobody understands. Early 2022. Ryan Cohen, the billionaire behind Chewy and the chairman of GameStop, the single most worshipped name of the meme stock era, buys 9.8% of Bed Bath & Beyond, $121 million, through his firm RC Ventures. When this man buys a stock, millions of small traders on Reddit and YouTube buy it too. He enters in March. Remember that month. Within 3 weeks, he threatens to take over the board, and the company folds instantly, handing him 3 new directors. He starts pushing them to sell off pieces of the company. The vultures on the inside now have company from the outside. Then the rally begins. Cohen uses his influence, his reputation, his army of followers. The stock of a dying retailer starts to soar. By August 2022, Bed Bath & Beyond is the hottest meme stock in America. Retail traders pile in, convinced Ryan Cohen is going to save the company, convinced they are early to something huge. And here is a detail that matters. The company's own buybacks had shrunk the share count so much that Cohen's stake crossed 10%. That triggered a rule forcing him to publicly report his every move.
The inside crime and the outside crime were now feeding each other.
Now the countdown closes. Cohen entered in March. On August 16th, 5 months later, he sells. All of it. Every share. In 2 days, near the very top of the rally he helped create. His profit? Over $60 million. The moment the news breaks that Cohen is out, the stock collapses. The retail traders who followed him, who believed they were buying a comeback, are left holding shares worth a fraction of what they paid. They didn't get a comeback. They got a bill. And if you were one of them, if you bought a single share during that rally, believing you were part of something bigger, listen carefully. You were not an investor. You were the exit. For someone to sell at the top, someone has to buy at the top. That someone was you, the small trader, watching a billionaire, certain that this time would be different. It never is. The house always knows where the door is. You were standing right in front of it. And here's the detail that should make your blood boil. All of it may have been perfectly legal. A lawsuit alleged Cohen ran an illegal pump and dump. The SEC opened an investigation. But the shareholder case was thrown out in 2024 on a technicality, and Cohen has never been convicted of anything. The company's successor is still chasing him today for $47 million. The case isn't closed. Hold that thought, because it changes everything about the verdict. After Cohen exits, the end comes fast. Sales crater. The company signs the kind of desperate, brutal loans analysts call death spiral financing. On April 23, 2023, Bed Bath & Beyond files for bankruptcy. 5 months later, the shares are canceled, wiped to zero. Everyone still holding the stock, including the believers, gets nothing. Now count the bodies. 150 stores closed. Around 5,000 people lose their jobs. Another 700 laid off from corporate. And here's a fact that rarely gets mentioned. Retail closures hit women hardest. Research shows women outnumber men 2 to 1 in these jobs. So when the lights went out, it was mostly women who lost their paychecks. 5,700 people out of work. Now set that against one number. $11.7 billion. That is what the company spent buying its own stock instead of protecting the people who actually ran it. But here's the question nobody asks. Why did the small investors buy at the exact worst moment? Here's the connection no one draws. The buybacks. By spending billions to prop up the share price, management made a dying stock look alive. The inside crime built the bait. The outside crime reeled it in. The two crimes were never separate. The first one armed the second. And here's the final twist. Bed Bath & Beyond still exists today. Sort of. The name was bought out of bankruptcy by Overstock, slapped onto a website, and resurrected as an online brand with no stores. The 1,500 locations? Gone. The blue coupon? Gone. The 30,000 jobs? Gone. But the name itself, the one piece with no employees and no obligations, was sold off like the last asset stripped from the body. So let's go back to the question. Who took the most money? Everyone blames Ryan Cohen. $60 million. The headlines, the lawsuits, the meme stock king who cashed out at the top. Cohen is the predator you can see, the one you can name. But Cohen is not the answer. Follow the real money. Management and the buyback machine evaporated $11.7 billion. That is almost 200 times what Cohen made. And a slice of it flowed straight back to executives through stock-based pay, while they pumped the very share price they were paid in. And here is the part that should keep you up at night. The buybacks were legal. The sale-leaseback was legal. Cohen was never convicted. Every single piece of this was permitted. That is the real crime. Not that someone broke the rules, that nobody had to. Bed Bath & Beyond wasn't killed by Amazon. It was hollowed out from the inside by managers who burned its future to prop up a number, then finished off from the outside by a market that treated its death as a payday. 5,700 people lost their jobs. Countless small investors lost their savings. And almost everyone who engineered it
kept their money, and walked away clean.
Bed Bath & Beyond is one of the most haunting cases we've covered because almost nobody went to prison and almost everything was legal. So I want to hear from you. Did you buy Bed Bath & Beyond during the meme stock rally? How much did you lose? Or did you see the exit coming before everyone else? And if you worked at one of those 1,500 stores, tell us what the final days were really like. We read every comment. Some of them become the next investigation. Subscribe. So Killed Companies doesn't end up on Killed Companies.